Ajuna no gba memodo jidae.
Suwe adona iyo gbetawa iyo melo jidae. Suwe adona yae.
Ajuna no gba memodo jidae.
Suwe adona iyo gbetawa iyo melo jidae. Suwe adona yae.
Mumado bonu meo.
Mai ba hoto siyo meido gbeti boro jidae. Suwe adona yae.
Tribal marks, or traditional marks, is a centuries-old practice mainly dominated by African societies. Traditionally, marks will be cut into the face and body of a newborn family member, marking the child as legitimate, or used for identification purposes of one's own ethnic group, or simply for beautification. Today, many cultures still practice scarring, but it is largely outdated, with many African governments banning the practice. On this episode of Africa and the City, I searched the roots of tribal markings and discovered a dyeing tradition being reinvented. It's 2015, and if you think tribal marks are dying out, you better think again. Millennials like Moniasse are taking tribal marks to the runway. But it's more than just fashion. It's about a search for identity, about going back to where it all started.
I think guys, they're looking at this, they're like, God, that girl, she's got balls. I was like, actually, I've got a vagina. We take all the banging, you know. They think, wow, okay, that's quite a brave thing to do. But at the same time, I think they're thinking, like, if she can do that to herself, what can she do to me? Well, I was born in France, but my roots are from the Republic of Benin, West Africa. My mom has scars, like, they're actually tribal scars on her temple. And in my dad's family, they have it on their cheeks. So I've kind of always been familiar with body marking. The front is a representation of the female reproductive system. It's inspired by that.
The female
reproductive system, yeah. And that's our clitoris, yeah. Our little pleasure thing. The more I was understanding who I was as a woman, as a Black African woman, it was important to me at that point to marry my spiritual practice with my ancestry, and the way my ancestors used to identify themselves is such a bold and brave choice, and I wanted to experience that.
Tribal marks are a rarity to find today, but an older African generation remembers when scarring was once celebrated. But with the passing of time, the dyeing tradition is not missed.
When I have my tribal mark, it was done by my father. I don't know that year, but the reasons why we are doing this, my own 3-3, that is for our family. So anywhere we go, that you see these 3 cross like this, you know that, yes, it's from my family. At another house near us, they do 3-3 like this.
Straight down.
And another place, they do this and this and this. So it all depends on what the family wants. I'm proud of it because anywhere I go, and I see my family, I know that what side have you come from? That is it.
Did people ask you questions about your marks?
Even the doctor. The doctor asked me, are you fighting with lion? Why do you get this in your cheeks? Are you fighting with lion? I said, oh, that is a tribal mark to know whose family I belong to.
Ṣé bàbá sọnù kárìíra wa yìí ni Yorùbá fi ń kọlà bàbá sọnù kárìíra wa yìí. If you get lost, we can have a way of retracing or getting ourselves back. That's an essence of tribal marks. Some of these tribal marks are too many. We have 3 strokes, we have 4 strokes, we have 8 strokes, we have 6 strokes, we have 7 strokes. We have 11 strokes. And we have another one you can't count, which is called keke. They just dot everywhere. And they have another one they call gombo. They will shave the earth and start the something from here. From here. That's what they call afari color. You shave the earth to have the tribal marks. People ask me questions when I go in buses and train. And people will come closer and say, "What is this in your face?" They will ask me questions. I will tell them. They may say, "I fought with hyena. I fought with lion. There was no window in our room, so you look for your way with your finger, and people scratch your face, and you scratch their faces." But I used to tell the people the truth. It's my tribal marks. I'm proud of it. My father had it. My mother had it. But if I go anywhere, people will identify me with this. You Africa, you Nigeria. They will ask me because they quickly see this. I cannot pretend to be Black America. My children can do that. They can't reintroduce tribal marks in Nigeria, but that doesn't mean you should crucify people who had it already, or you see yourself as the most wretched person because you have it. No, I have it and I'm not. It doesn't bother me.
I wouldn't until tomorrow feel embarrassed, because why should I feel embarrassed? It doesn't rob me of my brain. With focus and with the Spirit of God and with the enthusiasm I have as an attitude, I was able to do very well. I'm not going to trade this one. I'm not going to exchange this one for a clean cheek like yours, for the way I remember things. My wife knows I remember a lot of things. The way I organize myself, the way I articulate things, the way I make friends. I mean, if this is looked as a deterrent to success, I've been compensated.
The process is simple, it's cutting. So you're drawing the design with a pen and then you cut over it. It was cutting, and the dot work was, the skin was actually removed, it was peeled. And I'd say with the scarification, the most painful part is not necessarily the cut itself, it's more the healing process. It's you feeling your skin pulling, and it's like
Then you feel like the itching.
it's itching. It's like, oh my God, it's like imagine having 1,000 mosquito bite in your back. That's how it felt like. I made a choice to do this, but many people, back in the day didn't. I understand the reason why, and the reason are so diverse as well. Some women, choose to have their scarification done when they're willing to have kids. Like when they're ready, they're like, okay, this is, my markings and I'm ready to bear children. In some tribes, they don't do it before they're like 13 or 14. It's when they transition to become a man. So the reasons are so diverse. I think it's a beautiful practice, but I think it still should be a choice. I don't want people to have the wrong idea here. I'm not walking around with this thinking, oh, everybody should have scarification. This is me, and this is a self-expression of what's happening inside me, and this is a representation of who I see myself and where I'm standing with myself.